So, what's the deal with intermittent fasting? Is it a game changer for your health or just another passing trend? Today, I'm going to break it all down for you so you can decide if it's something that you want to incorporate in your life. And make sure to stick around till the end because I'm going to share lots of tips to make intermittent fasting super easy and also give you my personal experience of how I was able to stick to it for the past 8 years. Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Ashti. I'm an ex-commercial pilot who quit flying to pursue her career in health and wellness. Over the past 10 years, I've been really diving deep into nutrition, and there's one thing I've learned. There's no magic pill that is going to help us live to 100. But instead, simple lifestyle changes can have such a profound impact on our health. I used to be like many of you, hopping from one fad diet to another, hoping that one of them would be the ultimate answer. But now, as I approach 40, I've realized that true health comes from the daily habits we build. On this channel, I want to break down the science behind health and nutrition in a way that's easy to understand for you. I'm also a trained plant-based chef and I love sharing delicious, healthy recipes, so make sure to check out my Instagram for some inspiration. Okay, so let's get into intermittent fasting. You've obviously probably heard about it. It's all over social media, and maybe you've even considered trying it out for yourself. But there's so much information and misinformation, it can be really easy to get confused. You might even be doing it wrong and not getting the entire benefits of the fast. So let me break it down for you. So what exactly is intermittent fasting? Now, first, let me break this myth about intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is not about starving yourself or about skipping meals to the point where you feel miserable. That's not what intermittent fasting is about. I would never advocate for a diet that would ask you to restrict yourself or make you feel deprived. But instead, intermittent fast is just a way of eating where you are eating for a certain period of time and you're fasting for a certain period of time. So the funny thing is, most of us do some form of intermittent fasting without even realizing it. Now, say you have dinner by 8 p.m. and you wake up in the morning and you have breakfast by 8 a.m. That itself is a 12-hour fast, and most of us are following it anyway. So the idea with intermittent fasting is to just extend that fasting window a little bit more. So you can do 14, 16 or 18 hours and then eat during the eating window. Okay, so let's talk about why someone would want to follow this way of eating and what are the benefits of it. The thing is, our bodies are designed to handle long periods of not eating. Back in the day, our ancestors didn't have access to food 24/7. They obviously had to hunt or gather, and that meant going without periods of food for a long time. Obviously, I know most of us are privileged and don't need to do this anymore, but the truth is this way of eating does provide some benefits to our bodies. Fasting basically gives our bodies a break from digesting, and therefore it can do other things besides digestion. And this basically leads to several benefits. The first one is improved metabolic health. So intermittent fasting can help regulate your blood sugar levels and improve insulin sensitivity. The second benefit that you will get is reduced inflammation. Extended periods of not eating can reduce inflammation in your body. The third benefit that you can get is increased energy levels. Now, this might sound crazy, but many people report that they feel more energetic and more focused during their fasting periods, including myself. So when it comes to the science, one of the reasons that intermittent fasting can be so beneficial is because of something called metabolic flexibility. This basically means that your body becomes really good at switching from using glucose or carbohydrates for fuel to using fats as fuel. So what happens when you're constantly eating, your body doesn't get the chance to tap into those fat stores because your glucose is constantly being spiked and you're eating that many carbohydrates. So by extending your fasting window, all you're doing is you're encouraging your body to start using that fat for energy instead of the carbohydrates. So when it comes to the studies done on intermittent fasting, there's quite a lot of fascinating research out there. For example, there was one study which was conducted by a company called Zoe, and it was called the Big IF study. So this study involved 148,000 participants, and in the study, the participants basically had to eat during a 10-hour eating window, which means they had a 14-hour fast. The results were pretty impressive considering it was only 2 weeks, because on average, the participants lost about 1.1 kg, which is about 2.4 pounds. Besides the number on the scale, there were a lot of other benefits. So what they found was people reported better energy levels, improved moods, and even reduced hunger pangs. And this is the most interesting part about the study. It's not about the weight loss. I'm going to share more about this when I talk about my personal story and how I have been able to stick to intermittent fasting for the past 8 years. And I don't even think about it. It's just become a lifestyle. But I also want to be clear that intermittent fasting isn't some magic solution that's going to fix all your health problems overnight. It's just one tool in your wellness toolbox, and it's important to approach it with the right mindset. So the most important thing here when you're intermittent fasting is that the quality of the food still matters. You can't be intermittent fasting and then be eating junk food during your eating window. But don't think of it like it's a free pass for you to binge on unhealthy foods. Just think of it as an opportunity to be more mindful of what you're eating and when you're eating. And this will basically lead to all the benefits that we spoke about. Better digestion, better mood. You'll even be able to sleep better because obviously now your digestion is better. You'll notice a lot of changes once you start incorporating it into your lifestyle. So if you are interested in trying out intermittent fasting, I'm going to give you 5 tips that are going to make it really easy for you. And I wish I had these tips when I started. So the first thing you need to do is choose your fasting window. So basically this means choose how much time you plan to eat and how much time you plan to fast. So the most common methods is the 16-8 method, which means you're fasting for 16 hours and you're eating for 8 hours. But of course, if this sounds very hard, then you can do the 14-10 method or the 12-12 method. Obviously, if you're just starting out, then I recommend starting with the 12-12 method, which is you are basically fasting for 12 hours and eating for 12 hours. And I think this one is really doable for almost everyone. As you get more and more comfortable, you can start extending that period of time, maybe by 30 minutes every 2 weeks, but make sure you don't go too fast or you overwhelm yourself. The second tip is make sure you're staying hydrated during your fast. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. You can also drink black coffee or tea, but make sure there's no sugar or cream or milk in your tea or coffee. The third tip, if you're just starting out, is to listen to your body. The first few days might be a little challenging for your body to start adjusting. You might feel very hungry, you might feel like you're low on energy, and this is completely normal. But obviously, if you start feeling unwell, then it's okay to break that fast and maybe start doing it for a shorter period of time. Like instead of doing 13 hours, you do 12 and a half, or just stick to 12 hours for a few weeks or even a month till your body starts getting used to it. The fourth tip I have for you if you're just starting out is to make sure you keep yourself busy. If your mind is distracted, you're not going to feel hungry, and that's going to really help you remain fasted for a longer period of time. So just keep yourself occupied during your fast. And the fifth tip is don't obsess over the clock. Don't constantly keep looking at the time and saying like, oh, I need to break my fast. So if you are feeling hungry earlier than expected, don't worry about it. You can break your fast. It's totally okay to eat. Don't think that you failed because you're eating maybe half an hour early or even 1 hour earlier. Your body will adjust with time. So just make sure you're being flexible and listening to your body. The other important thing to remember when you're fasting is make sure you're clean fasting. So what clean fasting basically means is during your fasting period, you avoid anything that will kickstart your digestion and basically spike your insulin levels. So here are a few things you can have during your fasting window. Obviously water, it can be plain or sparkling, but make sure there are no added flavors in it. The second thing you can have is black coffee. Again, no sugar, no cream, no milk. The third thing you can have is plain tea. It can be green tea or black tea or even herbal tea, but make sure there are no flavors or sweeteners in it. When it comes to things that you must avoid if you're fasting, obviously the first one is flavored waters or teas. Anytime there's a flavor in something, it kind of spikes your insulin levels and your body thinks you're getting food. So it doesn't stay in the fasted state. The second thing to avoid is obviously diet sodas, even if it's 0 calories. Anything with artificial sweeteners, please avoid that during your fast. Even like a splash of lemon in your water can basically signal to your body that there's food coming, and this can make it harder to fast. So just keep it simple. For me, I just use black coffee or warm water. So now let's talk about some common mistakes people make when they just start intermittent fasting. The first mistake that I see most people do is they're jumping in too quickly. Now, supposing you've been eating all day and you suddenly start fasting 18 hours of the day, this is going to be a shock to your system. So make sure you start slow and gradually increase your fasting window. The second mistake I see a lot of people doing is they don't eat enough during their eating window. Now, just because you're fasting doesn't mean you don't give your body the nutrients it needs. So it's really important you nourish your body with all the nutrients and make sure you're getting in all the calories that you need. The third mistake I see a lot of people do is overeating on junk food. So just because you're fasting doesn't mean it magically cancels out the effects of junk food. You still have to make sure that your diet is focused on whole foods, nutrient-dense foods which are healthy for you. So now let me talk to you about my personal experience with intermittent fasting. So when I first started, I'll admit it was really tough for me. At that point, I had a hectic flying schedule, and I also was under this misconception that I had to eat breakfast as soon as I woke up. So there were days that I would wake up at 4 a.m. and make my oats and eat that at like 4:30 in the morning. But this really didn't feel natural to me. It didn't feel good. So when I first started intermittent fasting, I think I initially started with either a 12 or a 14-hour fast. Maybe it was between 12 to 14 hours. And I would get hungry in the morning. But I would just have a black coffee, and that would really help suppress the appetite. But in no time, my body got used to it. And there were days that I would do a 16-hour fast and I was flying all day and then break my fast. But I had all of these other benefits. I was actually way more energetic. I was more focused and my mind was sharp. And honestly, it felt really good. And when I did break my fast, I would eat something like my protein overnight oats. And I made sure that I was getting in all my nutrients. Lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins like tofu and tempeh, and obviously plant-based protein powder and healthy fats. So eating like this really kept me satiated and reduced those hunger pangs as well. I also made sure to drink lots of water during my fast. The thing is, sometimes our body confuses thirst and hunger. So you might be thirsty, but you could perceive it as hunger. So the first thing I would do is if I felt hungry, I would drink a cup of water and then see how I felt. And most of the time, it would literally be the thirst that was calling out to me. But remember, consistency is very important here. It's not about being perfect every day, but making it a regular part of your routine. It's a lifestyle. So some days I'll just do a 12-hour fast because maybe I've had a late dinner and I've maybe finished dinner by 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. and I wake up in the morning and then I have breakfast by 10 a.m. And that's totally fine. Other days, I'm able to do a 14-hour fast or a 16-hour fast. I'm basically flexible and I try to make it work for me, especially if you have friends coming over or you're meeting people for dinner or even if you're on a vacation, just be flexible about it. When it comes to exercise, you might be wondering, can I work out while I'm fasted? The answer is yes. You can totally work out if you're fasted, but please listen to your body. Everybody's body is different. Some people enjoy fasted workouts and have no issues doing them, while other people can't. With us women, it can be a little complicated because of our hormones, so just try and see if it works for you. Personally, for me, I can do cardio fasted, but I can't weight train fasted. And that's what works for me. And I prefer working out in the evening, so obviously I'm not fasted at that time. But in the morning, if I feel like going for a walk, I'll go out for a walk without eating anything. And I have no issues even going for an hour and a half long walk, even though I'm in a fasted state. It's just a misconception that you won't have energy, but your body has so many fat stores and it can use that fat for energy. So don't worry about it. Now let's talk about some common misconceptions that people have around intermittent fasting. The first misconception is, will I lose muscle if I fast? So the answer is no, but you have to be mindful. Unless you're going for extended periods of time fasting, which is like 2 to 3 days, then you don't have to worry about muscle loss. But there are three things that you need to make sure you're doing. Number one is make sure you're getting enough calories. Number two, make sure you're getting enough protein. And number three, make sure you're resistance training, which means you are doing some kind of activity like going to the gym, lifting some weights, even doing body weight exercises. If you're doing all those three things, you're not going to lose any muscle. And in fact, you might lose fat, which is a great thing, right? The second misconception is I can eat anything I want during the eating window. Now, I've mentioned this before, fasting doesn't mean feasting. You can still enjoy all your favorite foods. There's no problem with that, but also make sure you're nourishing your body and getting in all the nutrients that your body needs for fuel. The third misconception is fasting slows down your metabolism. Now, this is actually a myth. Short-term fasting, which is what we're doing with intermittent fasting, it's not 2 to 3 days of a fast. It's something that we're doing every single day. This can actually boost your metabolism. It's those prolonged, severe calorie restriction fasts that can slow down your metabolism. So remember that. But remember, intermittent fasting isn't for everyone. If you're pregnant or you're breastfeeding or you have certain eating disorders, then obviously intermittent fasting is not for you. Also, if you have certain medical conditions like diabetes, then make sure you consult with your healthcare professional and check if intermittent fasting is right for you. But that being said, people with diabetes actually benefit quite a bit from intermittent fasting because it again reduces your insulin levels and your glucose spikes. But consult with a professional. So to end this, I'm going to give you 3 tips that I think will help you be successful at intermittent fasting. So number 1 is to plan all your meals. Now, planning ahead can make a huge difference. If you know what you're going to eat during your eating window, you're less likely to grab the unhealthy or convenient thing. So just plan out your meal for the next 3-4 days. Like for me, I eat overnight oats for breakfast every single morning. Then for lunch, I make sure that my protein is prepped and I have some vegetables sauteed. So small things like this can really help you stay on track. So that way, even though you are fasting, you're making sure you're also eating healthy foods. You can also try and hide all your junk food or make sure you just don't buy any junk food. Maybe just buy it once a month. If you don't see it around your kitchen or in your house, you are more likely to choose the healthier option. So have like healthy snacks and fruits and nuts and stuff like that around your house. The next tip I have for you is make sure you're getting enough sleep. Now, sleep is such an underrated thing in our society. But 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep can make such a big difference to our hunger levels. You'll notice if you haven't slept well the previous night, you will feel hungry. And this is because of a hormone that we have called ghrelin. And if you haven't slept well, your ghrelin levels are going to be higher and therefore your hunger levels are also higher. So keep this in mind and make sure that you're getting in good quality sleep. And the next tip I have is the most important one. Please listen to your body. Remember, intermittent fasting is just one tool. It's not a rule book that you have to follow 15 hours or 16 hours or 17 hours. Start listening to your body every single day and see how you feel. If you notice that fasting is actually causing you stress or it's making you overthink or it's making you obsess about food, then maybe that's not the right strategy for you. For me, in fact, it helped me clear my mind and suddenly I had all this time where I was not thinking about food and I could focus on work and other things. It actually really made me feel like I had more time in the day. It's crazy. But again, it might not work for you. All our bodies are unique. Every one of us is different. And what might work for one person might not work for the other. The goal here is overall wellness, right? Better mood, better digestion, better sleep. It's not about just ticking a box and saying, hey, yes, I have to do this particular trend because it seems to be all over social media right now. So if you're thinking about giving intermittent fasting a try or you have tried it for some time, let me know how you felt. Let me know in the comments here on YouTube or even send me an Instagram message. And it'll be really fun to have a conversation about intermittent fasting. For me and my husband, both of us have noticed really good things in our life thanks to intermittent fasting. But again, everyone is different. So thank you for watching. And if you like this video, make sure to check out this one of mine where I talk about sugar alternatives and how they might not be the healthiest option for you. see you in the next episode of Wellness with Ashti.